Blog Talk Radio.
And we're live. Can you hear me?
Welcome to the CSMI radio broadcast, Today's Christian Music with James Burkhardt.
And good afternoon. Welcome to this edition of Today's Christian Music from Christian singer and songwriter Musicians International. With me on the phone is James Robert from the band Risen. James, how are you doing this afternoon?
Fantastic. How are you doing there, Mr. James?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Lots to talk about. Lots of exciting things happening with your brand new band. But briefly, why don't you just explain how you got started in music and what you've been doing for the last, 2-3 decades?
2 or 3 decades, man. That puts an age parameter on me. But no, I started singing in church choir and then solos, and I had some experience in high school, junior high, playing the upright bass, learning how to read music and theory, and then took a long break from it because it was something that wasn't, I don't know how to explain it, just was kind of vacant in my life for about a decade there. But I started writing some songs and early 30s started picking up the piano, acoustic guitar, and started writing. And my very first solo act was at a coffee house in Midland, Michigan, Coffee Chaos, and I was so scared I found myself in a fetal position on my kids, they were little at the time, lower bunk bed, going, Lord, I want to do this, but I'm scared. I'm sick to my stomach. I could call this off. And the courage just came and said, Lord, but I want to be obedient. And so I got up and had a great night. And been doing ministry in that capacity since then. It's probably been since 2004. And now here we are. My latest band members are actually in ministry with me as my sons, two of the three of my sons. Middle son Joshua Daniel Barber, and my youngest son Zane Nathaniel Barber.
Well, and they now comprise Risen.
Yeah.
So what is your musical direction with this band?
Well, we, as a family, we have a story of what God has done in our lives. My wife, their mother, has been ill for 15 of going on 24 years of marriage, and some of the songs I've written have been related to those times. Hold On, and then also Free Me, times of this journey. And we have kept our family very close during this time, homeschooling, different things like that, ministry. And the boys have had their own personal encounters with God, but have felt the call to music ministry and to the family message that God can keep families together. God can strengthen family units. God can work through the weaknesses of individual men and still be glorified in their lives, and bring father and sons, together, despite insecurities, despite facades that happen from a teenager to a father. And so our message is, one, to the hopeless and the helpless, but to also strengthen family units and father and son relationships, and to stay close to your family despite what circumstances come your way.
And you're also pastoring a church too, are you not?
Yeah, it's a church. We do an augmented service in the afternoon on Sundays. Was not something that was part of my plan. I always thought I'd be a singing evangelist. There is such a thing, but as the years have gone by and learning what it is to love despite one's realization of how selfish you are, going through and allowing God to really grow you in those areas, He's seen fit to give me a flock, his flock, to care for people. It's called the Hub Fellowship, and my boys are directly involved with worship and teaching and working toward ministry credentials. Joshua Daniel, and then Zane is just right there coming alongside.
Well, how do you find their contributions to the church? They're obviously youngsters and learning all this.
Well, we've been, as of September 21st, we've been doing this for 3 years. Zane, who's 15, will be 16 here real soon, but has played with me quite a bit, percussion, and has recently been doing a full kit drum set. But he's just been alongside. This is his call. He feels that he's called to be with his dad and to follow, where his dad's footsteps are at, his present point time in his life. Those are his words. And Joshua is 19 and almost a year ago committed to his life to ministry and to music, and he has been in training. Now he's our youth minister with our youth. They've both been involved with the children's ministry and just have really integrated themselves into the compass of what the whole ministry is all about, with worship, outreach, and and then of course ministering to the youth.
Well, how do you see Risen fitting into this musical landscape that's out there? There's an interesting age difference, but they're your children, and you've obviously been out there playing quite a bit and have a following of your own. How are you building these bridges and creating this, this new audience that your sons might be attracting?
Well, I mean, I always wondered if I was too far gone. Just kidding when I say that, or over the hill. And but the message is still the same. The difference in this day and age is that many fathers, not all, have given up, have walked away. I see a lot of split families where, that's become the norm, and they're not putting split families down, because our God is a God of restoration. And so, we are where we're at in our walk with Him, speaking figuratively with fathers. And I mean, I've been married to one woman going on 24 years with the children from the same wife, but I realize there are a lot of dads out there that haven't always stayed the course. And so we want to come alongside and say that God can restore, can maintain that relationship with your children. The boys, one of the things I've learned is the treasures I wear are their testimonies of how the family, how I've been, how they've been affected as a family unit, has struggled through sickness, struggled through hard times financially, struggled through loss of home, struggling with growing a ministry, and yet being on fire for God. And so their testimony in itself is the jewels, or, what I wear around me is, how they've been affected and what they say now to their generation. And so that's how I see it coming across is, here's a father in ministry with his two sons, and I don't know how common that is and how broadly that message comes across to the average man, the average son, father, single, wanting to get married. What does that stuff look like? And so I think the cross-generational message between a father and his sons, that can be a strong message to the men that we come in contact with and families.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of Noah, but, father and his sons, but be that as it may. When it comes to putting the music together, where do the songs come from? Who are the songwriters in the group? And, how does Risen happen?
Well, for a long time it was the James Robert Band, because I had different band members. I've been a solo artist, and so earlier this year of 2019, I think it was around March, we were driving, having a day off, and drove up to a beautiful Port Huron Lake, Port Austin actually, at one of Michigan's Great Lakes, Huron Lake, and we were praying about what does this look like for the future. I mean, because it's been just over a year that Joshua has joined Risen and committed himself to being a musician. I mean, he didn't play anything prior to last September. Now he's becoming a proficient bass player. And in regards to songwriting, he's got a song or two on the docket. It's been constructed, it's been written. It's called Lost Without You. And the words are very, very introspective, and it's got a powerful message. He's in his journey of not sure when that'll be ready for him to release it for himself or for the band, but it's definitely influenced us as a group. He's participated in working with his brother on a few songs. One of the songs that we're actually playing right now, Zane, it was birthed in Zane, called Keeper of the Flame. And we've actually been playing that out. That came together much quicker. Zane actually leads the verses, and then him and Josh sing on the chorus. And I Proud Papa, just kind of stand in the background playing guitar and a little soloing, help them construct it. But just watching them, start taking the lead, as young as they both are in music, it's kind of one of those honorable, proud daddy moments. But
that sounds pretty awesome. So, if people want to connect with Risen on social media, what's your Facebook page, and how do they get in touch with you to book you for worship or a concert event, or just give us a little bit of that data, if you might.
Yeah, we are Facebook. It's Risen at the Facebook address is Risen Music at Risen Music Live, and you'll see Risen Isaiah 61 as part of our Isaiah chapter 61, which is where we based our name from. You'll see that logo and that scripture reference. You also see you'll see our Risen's release party flyer up as well. And then our website is risenmusic.org. And our shows can be found on our tour dates as well on both Facebook and the website.
Yeah, and you've got several dates coming up over the next couple of months in October, November, as I noticed. But let's talk a little bit about the CD release party. The CD is called Hold On.
Correct.
And it's going to be Saturday, October 25th?
6th, yeah.
26th, okay.
It's Saturday, it'll start around 6, where we should be in a good place to do a Facebook Live recording of that. That way I've been encouraging different groups and different things. If they can't make it, please join us for the night. We have special guest artists coming in that will be celebrating with us, and we're hoping for just a night to celebrate what we've done together, what we've accomplished, where we're going, and we'll have some merch available at that time as well.
Yeah, the brand new T-shirts that I saw on your website, right?
Yeah, we got brand new T-shirts. We got 3 CDs, a couple of the old, and then the new, where a lot of people haven't heard much of our music out in mainstream local market. It's been a while since things have been released, so we're just going to re-release them under the name Risen, and came up with 3 different CDs out of the bulk of the songs. There's going to be some bracelets, pins, notebooks, handful of notebooks, about a dozen or so, where you can write your thoughts, devotions, but they'll have the Risen logo with the scripture on it.
Right.
So,
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So the songs that are on this new CD on Hold On, and I'll just tell everybody that we're going to be playing that song at the end of the show today, so everyone can kind of hear what your new sound is like. But tell us a little bit more about the CD, the songs that are on it, and a story or two about how they were written.
Hold On was written a few years after my wife was diagnosed with this very rare chronic pain disease. It's called RSD, or more currently known as CRPS, Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. And she, and of course the family, we've gone through our journey of asking God why, and what did we do wrong, and what do we got to repent of? And we've had elders and people pray over us, and we've prayed over each other. And sometimes God, you can talk the talk of faith and still go through hard times. You can believe with all your heart that God can heal, and you can expect that at any time, but still have to go day by day, seeing quality of life being taken from somebody through their journey. And she has shown herself to be just a woman of faith. She's journaled some over the years where God gave her a title, Peace, Pain, and Grace for every moment. And a lot of times life slows down. Well, from our experience, life does slow down for someone who has chronic pain. And everybody else's life seems to speed up, even though it's just a natural pace. And the song Hold On was, holding on to every moment. And, sometimes it's hard to speak and share what you're feeling and how you're feeling because you don't feel like anybody's going to listen anyway. But it's important to find those people in your life that got your back, and that that you are worth it, and that if you just hold on, he's going to show himself, even if he doesn't take away the pain, even if you have to go through the circumstance, you'll find new treasures in your relationship with him and family members who are willing to go through it with you. That's huge. Having family member support. Many people don't like to be overladen or complicated with other people's problems, and family is no exception to that. And we have seen that over the years where people just don't want to get bothered with the slowness of life that happens when circumstances get really hard, especially a physical ailment. But I've talked to the boys quite a bit, and that's where "Hold On" the song came from. Was there are treasures that we have that we would not that we wanted her to go through this or us to go through it, but since we have, there's just treasures of God and our relationships with one another that I don't know if we'd ever really have at this point in our life if it wasn't for the journey we've gone through. "Hold On," and then "You Are Joy" is an instrumental about God being our joy. He is righteousness and peace and joy. That's who he is. It's not something we can attain outside of him, knowing who he is, because that's who he is. So in order to have true right standing with the Father and having that peace and that joy is knowing the Son. And that's a journey of relationship that it takes time to get to know the Son. It's not just it can be a moment of spiritual euphoria, and I mean that respectfully, a true spiritual experience, but it really does take time to nurture the relationship and for him to become our true joy, because we got to let a lot of other things go in that process. The song "I Will Bow," every word of it is from the Psalms, and I pictured myself as I went through and just circled words, sentences, phrases from every book in the Psalms, and then coming back through, collectively putting these words together. I pictured myself in the throne room of God, in the midst of his glory, the weight of his glory, a cloud at his feet, and just, being encapsulated with his presence. And so I will bow. So we got "Hold On," "You Are Joy," "I Will Bow." We have also "Stay Alive" is a message of, we all have people in our lives that are struggling, some refusing to submit to God or to even acknowledge, some struggling with themselves with or without God, but struggling within themselves and making decisions that affect them in a drastic way, and even those around them. And the song is really, even to the point of suicide, is saying it's important that you stay alive. Your life is beautiful. You are beautiful. And, we're crying out. It's a song of crying out. Stay away from the edge. But you got to see us. You got to hear us. You got to pay attention to the truth and not the lies that come in and can overtake. So, and we also have a song called "Wait." And it's another song about sometimes not that God stopped waiting for us, but it's our own cry and admission that I've wasted some time in my life and I need to stop and give God what he truly deserves, and that's my whole heart. And we just cry out, "Wait, don't let me go. I'm yours. You make me stronger." And trying to think here, am I missing one? We got that was 5, I think. We have
that
might have been 6, but there's at least 6 songs on the new album called "Hold On," and it a lot of it is relational and introspective, but as well as a message to people that we understand what it means to go through really hard times and even question whether God is really there or not, and go through this journey of finding our trust in him, through life and through circumstances.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give your the date of the CD release party and where it is, and then your Facebook address and your website address, and we'll get right into that song. Hold On. Sounds great.
All right. It's Saturday, October 26th, 2019 at 6 p.m. You can go to Risen Music at Risen Music Live, Facebook, and we should have it on Facebook Live there, or you can come to 1149 Melville Road, Lapeer, Michigan at Cornerstone Christian Church, and join us physically. And we're going to have some food, some prizes, door prizes, things like that. And we have 4 other artists coming in to just mix in with what we're doing.
Great. Well, James, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We got to have some time to play the song now. So we will have you back on today's Christian music, I promise.
All right, sir. Thank you.
This has been the radio broadcast, Today's Christian Music with James Burkhardt. For more information about Christian songwriters and musicians international, please go to our website at www.csminetwork.com or email us at cwnnashville@gmail.com. God bless.